Hello guys, gals, and geeks, and welcome back to another episode of my Lorethrough for Torment, Tides of Numenera. I'm your host, Board Contemplation, and today we're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of character creation, some of the systems regarding skills and abilities, as well as talk about what the word Numenera actually means, both in the context of the game systems as well as to the people of the Ninth World themselves. First off, let's look up to our little description here. I am an intelligent nano. Now, intelligent, of course, is pretty self-explanatory, but nano might be something that a few of you would be wondering about. Luckily, there is a nice set of descriptions for each of the different types up here. Now, before anything else, I should explain how character creation in Numenera sort of differs from all your other typical RPGs. In most RPGs, you tend to start with either a character class, like in Dungeons & Dragons or anything of that ilk, any sort of BioWare RPG, or it's sort of a formless, either point spend or just sort of make your way through the world and build up the parts of the character that you use, thing like Skyrim or anything in the Elder Scrolls series. With Numenera, the way that your character is defined is based on three things, and these all come in to form a sentence describing who you are. This is the description, the type, and the focus. Now, the description is basically if a person who knew you had to describe you in one word, what would that word be? So here, being intelligent means that is sort of the part of my personality that stands through the most. The type is basically roughly equivalent to the kind of class that you are in other RPGs, but it's a lot less like locked in than you would if you were, say, playing a fighter in Dungeons & Dragons or a warrior in World of Warcraft. You can be a intelligent glaive, which would be the equivalent of a fighter, or you could be a strong jack, which is the equivalent of sort of a rogue in other systems. Finally, and this doesn't actually happen until later in the game, you get what's called a focus. What a focus is basically something special about you, either a actual literal weird power that you have and like other people don't, or possibly something that you're really good at, or something that sort of you can do that no one else can, such as being a master of a certain weapon, or just being especially charming in certain situations. Or if you really want to get out there, there's of course the infamous Rise of the Lightning, where you teleport around on bolts of lightning and shoot electricity from your hands. Good X-Men stuff right there. So, first of all, let's look at the various character types. Starting from the left, we've got Glaive, which, as I said before, is kind of like the fighter or warrior equivalent in other games. Reading the description, Glaives are the elite warriors of the Ninth World, using weapons and armor to fight their enemies. Scouts, guardians, warlords, and soldiers could be glaives. Most glaives either have a high might and use the heaviest armor and weapons available, or high speed and stick with light or ranged weapons and light or medium armor. So here you can kind of see what I mean by like them not being pigeonholed into like one kind of role. They can either be sort of your traditional fighter and wear heavy weapons and armor, or they can go almost more like an archer or ranger build with light or ranged weapons and light or medium armor. And the choice is really up to you as you build the character. Next up, we have Jacks. Jacks are intrepid explorers and adventurers. They are jacks of all trades, hence the name. Although the word also harkens back to fables involving a wily, resourceful hero who always seems to be named Jack. Jack the Giant Slayer, I suppose? Jacks are at their best when they combine weapons, armor, esoteric ciphers, and a clever tongue. They are treasure hunters, grifters, skalds, rogues, and experts in a variety of fields. So a Jack, as it says in the description, is a jack of all trades. It's the skill monkey class of the Numenera system. So if you want to get basically a wide variety of things that you actually want to do within the game, this is probably the type that you want to choose. It also lets you play around with stuff from some of the other classes. As you can see, one of its special powers is the flex skill. which allows you to get a rank in another skill that you don't already have a rank in, and you can change that skill on a day-to-day basis. So if you're actually not really sure what you want out of your character or what you want to do in the game, you should probably go with Jack in that case, because it'll allow you to sample a lot of what the other classes have, well, without having to commit yourself down one path. Finally, we have the Nanos. Nanos are sometimes called mages, wizards, sorcerers, or witches by the people of the Ninth World. Whatever they're called, Nanos master the mysteries of the past to the degree that they seem to perform miracles using esoteries, spell-like invocations that combine gestures, command words, and psychic disciplines. They tap into nanospirits, numinous particles that suffuse the landscape, to alter reality or to learn things that they couldn't otherwise know. So here we go back to sort of the explanation that I gave in the first video, which is that the entire surface of the planet is suffused with little nanobots that can be manipulated by nanos. You can see sort of the connection between the name and the kind of powers that they can command. It's also interesting that they're called nanospirits as well. There are certain cultures sort of in the universe of Numenera that actually view them as sort of spirits in sort of like an animist sense, if you can think of other animist religions in the real world. So each you can see the pool up here of each of our stats, and as we select different classes, that actually changes. The intelligent descriptor here actually I think gives us 1 or 2 extra intellect than we'd usually get, regardless of class. So as you can see, even if you're playing a glaive, you actually have can be a very smart glaive. You're not you don't have to be a dumb warrior or otherwise compromise your intelligence in order to be just as good at soldiering or whatever else you want to do as a glaive. It also affects the kind of skills that you have access to and the things that you can do with weapons and armor. So here you can see with the little red indicators here that these are inabilities. They make tasks harder for you to do. So if you are a nano, then you are not really good at using heavy weapons, or medium weapons for that matter. But you do automatically get 1 more bonus in Anamnesis, which is the Last Castoff can access the memories of previous consciousnesses. This skill represents your focus and acumen when attempting to recall those experiences. And yeah. So from this menu, you can choose to actually like build your what particular class and descriptor and everything that you want. Focuses will come later. And I think for now, Intelligent Nano is fine, which is based off just what we did through our role playing at the start of the game. So we are going to start with +2 intellect pool, 2 points to distribute to any pool, +5 health at each tier after first, gains 2 abilities at each tier, and can pick 1 lore skill at tier 1. Lore skills are basically the equivalents of the knowledge skills in the game. So this is a very appropriately named series, if nothing else, the Lorethrough. Alright, so we're going to lock that in and go to the next step. We got 2 points to spend in the pools. Might, speed, and intellect. So we have pretty high intellect here. I don't know if we really need to go any higher. For explanations of what each of these stats do, you can refer to my first video that I came out with while we were discussing how the system works. I think I'm going to put 1 more into speed. Should I max out my intellect? I think that... yes, we're going to be quite intelligent. Next up, we have abilities. So this is something that a little piece of advice I want to give out for anyone who's plans on playing a nano. You are going to want scan thoughts. The surface thoughts of most people or creatures you speak to appear in conversations. This actually just adds new lines of in the dialogues that you have in the game, where you are actually like reading the thoughts of people, and that's not something that you see in a lot of games, especially because it just adds more work for the people who have to write for it. But in this case, it's also really useful for if you're trying to convince someone to do something or trying to solve certain puzzles. You can literally just have the information pop up there, and if you're paying attention, you can use that while talking with people, or even just learning a secret that they don't want you to know. It's actually really cool. So we're definitely going to take that as one of our abilities. And then we'll look at some of the others. We got Resourceful. Gain 1 training level in Cipher use skill. Allows you to carry additional ciphers. We'll go into ciphers and other pieces of Numenera in like more detail later on in the video as we start to explore. Adaptation. Gain Protected, which is +2 armor, +1 resistance. Armor bonus +2 per tier. Resistance bonus +1 per tier. So that's basically just like mage armor, I guess. Innervate. Remove all negative fettles. Excludes flanked and lasting damage. Heals 6 points of health. So fettles are kind of just like debuffs that you can get in the game. So that's good for removing some of those status effects. And Quantum Step. Teleport 1 ally to a point within range. I think I have to go with Quantum Step here, because that's pretty cool, the ability to teleport. Hard to pass that up. Reading thoughts and teleporting. That seems like some mystical nano drit to me. Next up, you have to choose an exploration skill. So the exploration skills provide benefits to any tasks and challenges you may come across, increasing your odds of success while using them. Some exploration skills may also have additional benefits, such as granting increased health or increasing the number of ciphers that you can safely carry. So all of our exploration skills as nanos are all lore or knowledge skills. So we got mystical, machinery, and natural. And I think that machinery is probably one of the more useful ones as we try and figure out how the actual pieces of technology work throughout the game. Mystical is pretty nice too, but I think that we're going to start with machinery. We can upgrade some of these other ones later on. And of course we don't get any weapon skills because we are not a glaive. We are a thinky pants over here, us nanos. And finally we have a descriptor. So the one that I gave us was intelligent, which gives us +2 intellect pool and +1 training in the anamnesis skill. Anamnesis. Yes. There's going to be a lot of questionable pronunciation in these videos, so I apologize in advance and buckle in. That's all I can warn you, good viewers. But as you can see, that there is quite a variety of descriptors that you can go with. Clever, graceful, charming, mechanical, mystical, spiritual. No, that's not one. But yeah, I think that intelligent looks pretty good. Ooh, but learned actually. You are studious and know a great deal of information about many things. You have few social graces, however. You get -1 training in persuasion skill and -1 training in deception skill. So the major bonus to the intellect pool is pretty nice, as is the bonus to the anamnesis skill. But starting with points in all of the knowledge skills, as well as, well, not all, but natural and machinery, as well as the healing skill, is pretty good. Mystical also gives us a level in the mystical skill and the training in cipher use. Actually, this is a little bit tougher than I originally thought, but I think that we're gonna go with, yeah, we're gonna go with learned, because it gives us a more dispersion on our skills, and our persuasion and deception skill are gonna suffer for a bit, but I think we can maybe, oh, actually no, it gives us 2 inabilities. We want to talk our way out of situations, so let's actually go usual intelligent. All right. Yes. And confirm. And yes, this is who we are. And from there, we step through the mirror. The other side. Spectre. Everything about the spectral figure seems dreamlike. He is a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. You breathe a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that it would work. We pooled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you. Wake you up. Glances at the other figures here and frowns unhappily. It took more out of them than we thought. The other reflections. More like shadows now. Look, I'll bet you've got a lot of questions. The whole place is basically your mind. Your body's still out there in the real world, healing from the fall. You need to get out there and finish the process. He shrugs. Shouldn't be too hard. So, okay, yeah, that's a bit confusing. So yeah, this place is kind of a weird headspace for our characters, which if you read any of the like preliminary and preview stuff, you'll know is called the Labyrinth. And that's the way that they get around sort of like as a death mechanic in this game, is that every time you die, you come back to this labyrinth, this place within your head, and each time you will meet these strange specters as well as other parts that will become unlocked and expand outwards as you explore the workings of your own mind. Weird, right? But let's look at our options. Before I met you, it felt like something was hunting me. You know what it was? Actually, I think we're going to go with that one, because that is kind of pressing right now, considering just last episode we heard something coming after us. He closes his eyes. That's a memory I don't want to recall. Large, black, furious. It's our death. It's the sorrow. He closes his eyes. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. You said I had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? After you woke up from the dream state and attuned to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. But what do you mean, attuned to the tides? Tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is, your body in the real world, needs the tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. What's a resonance chamber? I remember pieces about it, not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it, and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. So, it's actually a part of you, it seems. Who are those other people? Call them reflections? That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew. People you met in the real world, and with whom you shared some kind of psychic connection. I don't know how or why, it just happens. If this place is my mind, why don't I remember any of this? Any of you? It's your mind. A construct built to, I don't know, share thoughts? Store your true self? Wait, you know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyway. You'd probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come up to you later. Who are you specifically? Pauses and looks down at himself, considering a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm a part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting here for you. We called you with memories of the others who are here. I don't know what happened next. How do you know all this? All that you're telling me? He throws up his hands in frustration. I'm just part of you. I look at you and I know. This place has made a view for us. And I remember pieces of knowledge that came to me when you asked your questions, but that's all. So how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it, and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. He crosses his arms. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... What in the hells is that? Ooh. Sorrow. Oh, it's the sorrow. Oh, okay. I forgot about the mirror shattering. Sorrow is anchored to those reflections. It's devouring the power. Oh, they just brought me through. Wait, 1, 2. Are those like the reflections I saw through the mirror? Maybe. I don't know if that makes sense. We have to get rid of them. Destroy its anchors, or else the sorrow will erase us forever. So now we start our first crisis, which is the combat mode of the game. Reflection near you. Kill it! You'll loosen the sorrow's anchor. So this is the turn-based combat system of the game. But you can also usually do other things, and always look for things to interact with in the game, because often they will have other options in combat other than just attacking the enemy outright. Some of them might be a lot easier to do actually overall in order to try and defeat what you need to defeat. So first off, check our abilities. Hide, Quantum Step, and Onslaught. Onslaught is like the magic missile, the basic magical attack for nanos in this game. I think that's a good place to start. So when you do it, you can actually decide what kind of energy you want the onslaught to be. And of course, like in any other RPG, different enemies are vulnerable to different damage types. And so figuring out what damage types work best on which enemies is actually a way that you can really make your onslaughts effective. Right now, I actually have no idea what the screaming nothingness that is the sorrow is actually weakening against, but transdimensional is usually a good bet if you can't think of anything else. Unless, of course, it's like a dimensional creature itself. But we will go with that for now. We got 50% chance of hitting. We're going to put it up to 70% by spending 1 point of effort from our intellect pool.
Should have run.
Well, that's a bit rude. This brought us through. Should have run. I don't agree with that, me. And then we're just going to move a little bit closer so we can get the other ones within range. Ugh. What in the... It's escaping. It's going to hide inside your mind. Now run. Get to the next one. Second verse, same as the first. And we're going to go to 70%.
What do you think of this?
And then, once again, we're going to move up. This last one I think we're going to hit. I don't want to spend any more intellect. Actually just shooting them with my onslaught. What's it doing now? It's infecting it somehow. And then we are going to smack this one. And 65 is actually alright on its own. I don't really want to spend any more than that. And yeah, let's do that.
Missed.
Uh-oh. I should have expected that, honestly. Guess the reflection is protected somehow. You need to find a way to hit it even harder. Grab this piece of mirror glass. It might have enough residual energy to kill the reflection. Ooh, okay. So here you can see how you can actually like do things in the middle of combat. In this case, picking up a piece of the mirror to use as a weapon. In other places, there will be switches that you can use or machines that you can hack or other things in order to try and turn the turn the fight in your favor. Like, oh, I think it automatically equips. Yes. More gooey things going into my mind. It's unpleasant. Yes, it's equipped. Shimmering glass. And away we go.
I missed.
Oh, 65%. I should be hitting a bit more. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, we're gonna bite the bullet and actually go up a little bit higher on this one. Not good. And turn. I'm just gonna onslaught.
Surrender.
Nice. And no longer anchored, it slips back into the nothingness from whence it came. Hopefully. Pried it loose. The thing is a cancer, an infection. It's unstoppable, but you stopped it. He holds his head in his hands. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you, terror in his eyes. A thing, sorrow, and hunting you. So I killed you in the first place. He'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The portal to your body is that shimmering dome there. Go! Now! Okay.
Ready.
Can I just say right now, actually, like, you have a few other conversations with this guy as the game goes on, and I don't trust him. There's something weird about him. And I don't know what yet, but keep an eye on that man over there.
On it.
And away we go. And
Where
there's the
did she
resonance
fall
chamber.
from?
Oh,
Her body's smashed to talk. It's a wonder she's still breathing.
All I saw was the corona, not her origin point. But look, she's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
so that voice acting's new, but that wasn't there in the version I played before. That's cool. Elegant. Ugh, what was that? What did you do, Calistege? Okay, I have to pick pronunciation now. Calistege. That's what we're going with. His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat, belted at the waist, supplies filling the pockets. Boots are worn and stained with years of travel. Blame me? She emitted an internal physiological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to that fantastic healing process. Obviously, Allergen. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions travel from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. Oh yes, it's obvious, Calistege. His voice is grim and clipped. Then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal. We know that much. Start talking. His face is hard and set. So here we see our first instance of the scan thoughts power working. So here we're reaching beyond what he's saying into the surface thoughts of his mind to learn a little bit more. He's the changing god. Calistege is deliberately blinding herself. But why? So here's another phrase that's gonna have to throw at you guys with an explanation. The changing god, and we'll go into more detail of this as the plot unfolds, because some of them might be a little bit spoilery at this point in the game. But it is the thing that you are cast off from. A person who is able to, when he dies in various bodies, transfer his consciousness to another body. Or, well, not even when he dies, he can also do it at will or when he's getting old. When that happens, cast-offs like yourself have a new personality or intelligence that seems to spontaneously grow inside their mind, in the same manner that we saw when we were actually building our character in the tutorial last video. So, as we go on, you'll see that the Changing God is central to both the plot of this game, as well as to all of the politics and goings-on in this particular region of the world in which the story takes place, which is Greater Garavia. Now, I think we're going to end the episode here before this rather long conversation segment. So, as always, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me through the long, lengthy explanations, or skipping through them if that is more your speed. In any case, like, share, subscribe, and all that good drit, and I will see you next time. Yedase.